Okay, finally time to get a little Twins preview thing going here. They bumped the opener from supposed to be basically going on right as I'm doing this, but they bumped it to tomorrow because of weather. It's currently snowing outside. Tired of this bullshit, but whatever. I'm still glad we don't have a roof on Target Field, and everyone who thinks that we should is an idiot. Um, so and the Twins made another move today. They made a trade with the Padres. They picked up Chris Paddock and Emilio Pagan, um, starting pitcher and relief pitcher. They gave up Taylor Rogers, um, who presumably was going to be their closer. I mean, he had injury issues and stuff last year. Otherwise, he probably would have been traded last year. But he was, seemed to pitch pretty well in the spring. And he was going to probably be their closer, but so I don't know who's going to be the closer now. Um, and I think that's maybe a little overrated anyway, having a closer like just, whoever. Just the ninth inning isn't always the key inning. And they traded Brent Rooker, who was probably not going to make the roster anyway, and he's one of these guys. He's just getting to the point where he ain't young enough to be a prospect anymore, and if he can't stick on a roster, and he didn't have a lot of position flexibility either. He's not very good on defense. And we've got corner outfielders. We've got guys who can DH. Kind of was no room for him. He might have even DFA'd him if they couldn't have worked him into a trade. So I don't think that's a big loss. I'm mixed on the trade. I don't know. I don't look at these pitchers that they picked up as particularly great. This Paddock is kind of, he's not quite a reclamation project. He's not Chris Archer or Dylan Bundy, but he's, it's just like one little step up. And as I seg into the season preview, I think I'm not as enthusiastic about this team as some people are. Like, some people really think that this team is going to be, like a legitimate, contender to really do something, not just maybe scrape by and grab one of these extra wild cards that's in there now, but really do something. And I don't think they have the pitching. I just don't. I mean, I think this offense should be pretty damn good. I mean, Buxton, fucking amazing spring. It's the same old thing with him. If he stays healthy, he's going to be probably an MVP candidate, and he may even win the damn thing if they did make the playoffs. Correa, he's hit very well. I mean, there's no reason to think he's not going to have a big season. And then you got, Polanco had a big year last year. No reason to think he's not going to still be pretty good. And then you got a lot of potential, big time bats. Hope maybe Kepler will have a bounce back year. You got Kirilloff up here again. Sano. I mean, Sano's going to be what he is. He's going to strike out an enormous amount of times, but then he's going to have those 2 or 3 hot streaks during the year, and everyone's going to point to that and be like, "Look at Sano, how great he is." It's kind of just is what it is with him. I think this might be the year now after this year where they got the option on him, so this could be his last year here if he doesn't really excel. And you got Jeffers and Sanchez are going to kind of split the catcher duties. Who knows what you're going to get from that. I have hopes for Jeffers, but we'll see. And you got a rise in there. You got Urshela. Presumably he's going to play third most of the time. He'll probably split that with Arise a little bit. Nick Gordon made the team. I wish he would get more of a real shot, but he's a good bench player. And Gilberto Celestino made the team. We saw him a little bit last year. Wasn't very impressive. People were saying, Kyle Garlick was going to make the roster as that extra outfielder, but I guess not. So, But and they have the through at least beginning of May, they got the 28-man roster, and we're using those extra spots right now entirely for pitchers. I'm not even going to attempt to count every pitcher that we've got, but now that we got Paddock, we've got 6 starting pitchers, and Josh Winder, who's a rookie, made the team, and he's a starting pitcher. So we've got 7 starting pitchers. Ryan, Gray, Ober, Bundy, Archer, Paddock, and then Winder, who, had been talked up that, if they hadn't made some of these extra moves, he might have been in the rotation. I'm guessing what they're going to be doing with this is they're going to be, since guys are not maybe fully stretched out, or much as they want, and, you've got the extra couple roster spots, for a while. I'm guessing what they're going to probably be doing is a lot of, like, instead of, putting out, even like a 6-man rotation, what they're probably going to do is have, like, I don't know, a 3 or 4-man rotation, and then, like, double up with some of these other guys. So, like, maybe like Archer and Paddock. Hey, guess what? You each go out and pitch 3 or 4 innings today. Something like that, till they get them stretched out, and presumably, when they shrink back the rosters, then whichever pitcher is not performing, or maybe just Winder because he's the rookie, gets sent back down. I'm guessing that's how they're going to do it. And that could work a little bit. Like, I'm not saying it can't work. It can help maybe to kind of mask how they don't really have a very good rotation. I still don't think that this rotation is very good. I don't think they did enough. I know they did. They added a couple reclamation guys. Hope maybe they'll hit on 1 or 2 of these guys this year. They didn't hit last year. We ended up with Jay Happ and Matt Shoemaker, fucking embarrassing us for months. I mean, God, they didn't take Shoemaker out of rotation till like at least June. So hopefully they hit on something, because Gray will be solid. I think we all have hopes for Joe Ryan, but Joe Ryan hasn't pitched that much in the majors. He only pitched here for what, maybe not even a month, I don't think, at the end of the season. Ober was good, but I mean, we've seen guys who kind of have, flash a little bit as rookie, and then the teams kind of figure them out a little bit, and then they go the other way. And Bundy's a reclamation, and Archer's a reclamation. Paddock is not quite as much of that, but I mean, if they have a situation like last year where the pitchers they bring in really flop, they're going to be in some serious trouble. Because I think the offense will be good, but I mean, this offense is not going to be 2019 good. You're not going to be able to just completely rely on them to just carry you to win after win. And I think, and then the bullpen, obviously that's changed considerably, getting rid of Taylor Rogers. I don't know who the closer is. They've kind of got a couple of the waiver guys they kind of picked up. I think even just during the spring made the team, and then you got a couple of holdovers like Duffy and Thielbar, and Alcala, and then you got Duran, who I think they want him to be like their big star reliever. They got him from the Ryan Presley trade a few years ago. But we don't really know if he's got, he was supposed to be a starter. Now he's shifted the bullpen. We've seen guys that can go either way. You never know with bullpens. It's so unpredictable. And we've seen guys who were going to be starters, and then they couldn't really cut it as a starter, and then they turned into great relievers. And we've had a couple. I mean, Tyler Duffy, I wouldn't, Tyler Duffy's not great, but he's had some moments, and he was a starter. And Glenn Perkins was a kind of a failed starter, and then he became an all-star closer. But it really all comes down to the pitching, and of course we have a manager who I don't think is very good at managing pitching staffs, and we've seen that, obviously in playoff situations, and we've seen that in regular season situations too. I don't know. I'm overall just not as enthusiastic about this team. as some people are. I don't think they're going to be bad. I would be shocked if they finished in last place. But I would also really be shocked if they gave the White Sox a real run for it, because I think the White Sox are probably one of the 5 best teams in baseball. And I don't see it. I don't see them contending for the division. Can they make one of these wild cards? I mean, you got to figure at least 3 teams from the East are getting in. And then, I'm going out on a limb. My one, like, out on the limb pick this year is I pick the Angels to actually win the division, win the West. So that would put the Astros as a wild card. So, but there's a couple teams in the West that are contenders. I think it helps that you got the Royals, who are bad. The Tigers, who added a couple guys, but they're bad. And the now Guardians. They're always kind of in the mix just because they can always pitch, but they're not great. The division's not very strong, and that's going to help the White Sox, and it could help the Twins too. But I don't know. I'm not very enthusiastic about this team in terms of like really contending for something that matters. Like I think they'll be in it, and of course that'll be the big thing is the summer. If we ever get summers, it's still snowing. If we ever get summer, but as that rolls on, is like are they really in contention? Like, say you get to July 1st, are they really in contention, or are they just fringe contention? Because then you might be trading Carlos Correa, you might be trading some of these other players, and frankly, I probably would if they're not real contenders at that point. And I don't know. I see, like, I don't really do record predictions, but I mean, I could see this team going 81-81. I think they're just right down the middle. Because I think there's just so many question marks on the pitching side, and you need so many things to hit to really have a shot. And I just don't see it. I see the offense being really good, and I see the pitching staff being just really mediocre. And this isn't like the Guardy years where you have a very bad division and you can just be kind of a notch above mediocre and win a division. I don't think you can do that, and I don't know that they can be better than throw whoever you want to throw in the mix for the Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, obviously White Sox, Astros, maybe the Angels, maybe even Seattle. Are they going to be better than several of those teams? I just don't even see it that way. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is the season. Like, I hope all the additions and the Correa move and everything, I hope this is the one that works out. I hope this is the opposite of last year, where nothing worked out, where every fucking move they made, other than I guess re-signing Nelson Cruz, was a complete failure. And I hope it does work out. I hope I want this to be I don't want it to be June 1st and it's like we're writing off the Twins already. I'm just looking ahead to training camp. Like, I want the Twins to be good and legit relevant all through the summer and into the fall. But I think it's all depending on that pitching. So I think you're going to need, like, of the 7 guys they got now, you're going to need 4 of those guys to be really strong pitchers for you. Not just like, hey, maybe he can go 5 innings and give up 4 runs. No, you need like 4 good pitchers, like legitimate good starting pitchers, if you want to be a real contender for anything. I don't know. I could certainly buy that they could have 2, maybe 3, but we'll see. Like, if they are in contention into the summer, they didn't add the pitching that I felt that they should have the last few weeks, especially after the Correa move, and that most people said that like, you've got to still make one more move. They were talking about that pitcher from Oakland every day. He's still available. I mean, the A's have traded everything but the stadium. So, you could still, get him at some point. but I don't see them acquiring another starting pitcher now. I certainly don't think they're going to do that now. So maybe in the summer they would, but we've never seen this team really make that move, even if they are contenders in the summer. So I have a hard time believing they're going to do that now. I mean, because even like people think that like the cheap Pohlads narrative is over because they signed Grant. I mean, they're still like, I think barely in the top 20 for payroll. I don't know what the move today means for payroll because I don't know salaries the guys were bringing in. But they're not spending a ton of money, and that matters in baseball. I mean, it matters. Payroll matters in baseball more than any other sport. And if your dreams are of the Twins winning the World Series this year, making that kind of run, I mean, the odds are very much against them because they're not one of the top 10, not even top half payroll teams, and those teams almost never even get to a World Series, let alone win it. So, they could still do something, but problem is then you get into the summer and everyone's looking for pitching, so you're bidding against everybody. I think these trades that they've made, a couple trades for pitching that they've made, the signings, they've been kind of reasonable moves. But you're not going to be able to make reasonable moves if you're really going for it. Whether it's the guy from Oakland or some other pitcher who's available in the summer, like you're really going to have to give up something big. And I don't know that they're willing to do that. And they really haven't been before. So it's hard to see that. I've never seen it. No one's ever seen it where they've really been willing to do this. But again, I think this team will contend for the most part. Like, I mean, you have this extra wild card spot in there. Like, it's the whole idea why they do this. They want the extra TV money, obviously, for extra playoff games, but then they also want to keep more teams in it, keep more people interested in their teams and going to games and watching games and all that stuff. Like that's the whole idea. So I don't think the Twins are going to be like out of it in the summer. I would be pretty shocked. If they're in a mass sell mode on July 1, things went very, very wrong. Or maybe some other teams just really are way better than expected. But yeah, I don't have them in the playoffs. I have them finishing second in the division, but I also have the White Sox running away with the division because I just think they're far and away better than anyone else in the Central. I have the Twins in second. I don't have a record prediction, but I said if they went 81-81, it wouldn't shock me. But I think they're going to be the second best team in the division, then probably Cleveland, and then Detroit, KC in that order. And I just think you got teams out east that are really good. You always do, and then you got a really good White Sox team, and then you got the Astros are always formidable, and I'm picking the Angels to kind of be the surprise team of the year, to kind of put it together for once, the Trout era. But again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this team contends. I mean, be nice to get everybody in the playoffs this year. We got the Wolves going to be in the playoffs. Technically, playing game counts as playoffs to me. While they're going to be in the playoffs, Gophers, Frozen 4 tonight. They're making a run. I've already made it very clear that the Vikings are going to be good this year. So, and the Lynx should be at least pretty solid again. So it'd be nice if the Twins could join that party. I don't think they're going to, but I think they'll be an interesting team. I think they'll score a lot of runs, and if we get some pitching, I think they'll have a shot to actually make the playoffs. I don't see any scenario where they go to a World Series though. Maybe we can at least hope and pray that this is the year they maybe get in the playoffs and actually win a fucking playoff game for the first time since I had a full head of hair basically the last time they won a playoff game, let alone a series. God, it's been 20 years. 20 years this fall since they last won a playoff series. That's so embarrassing. It's unacceptable. But, you know, maybe this will be the year that they actually do something. But yeah, officially I'm just kind of like about the season. I mean, I'm glad baseball's back. I've been watching some baseball today. Like, I'm really glad baseball's back. I'm glad we got it. We look like we maybe weren't going to get it for a while. I'm just really glad baseball's back, and you know, hell, I'll be going to some games at the ballpark when it's not snowing. But yeah, so I have reached the point in my videos where I just start to ramble on. So I'm just gonna say, Twins, surprise me.